Hi, my name is Averi Stockton and I have decided to do my video on the labeling theory, which is found in Chapter 3 of the textbook. The labeling theory was not really introduced or researched until the 1960s, but this was not the first time that the idea was proposed by an individual. Emil Durkheim released the book Suicide in 1897, and he described something very similar to what sociologists in the 60s now refer to as the labeling theory. The labeling theory focuses on negative consequences of labeling individuals as delinquent, and how the community reacts to primary deviance in a way to label youth as bad or delinquent. The labels aren't randomly distributed. Many authors have proposed ideas for the labeling theory, including Howard Becker, John Kitsu, Frank Tannenbaum, and Edwin Lemaire. Becker proposed the labeling theory, but these other authors had ideas that helped his theory grow. John Kitsu places emphasis on the idea that just because someone may participate in deviant behaviors, that does not completely separate them from someone who is not deviant. But he does bring up the question, who is labeled as deviant, and who decides what individuals should be labeled? So the idea he was really trying to get across was, how can labeling someone a deviant affect their lives? Edwin Lemaire followed sociologist Frank Tannenbaum, who said there were two types of deviant acts when it comes to the labeling theory, but it was Edwin Lemaire that made a clear distinction between the two different types of behaviors. He described them as primary deviation and secondary deviation. Primary deviance is the individual's behavior followed by a societal response. Secondary deviance is further deviant behavior that's more organized and coherent. It's more serious. The deviant trajectory is the idea that you wouldn't have gone on this trajectory if you weren't stigmatized. The major tenets of the labeling theory is how meaning is socially constructed, the idea that we create meanings in association with other people. We see situations according to our own perspective. The labeling theory is considered a version of symbolic interactionism. In the labeling theory, it has been tested that those that are labeled poor, minorities, and powerless, and there are those that are the labelers, who are usually the rich and powerful. This is where some criticize the theory, because some who are labelers, the powerful, may be involved in deviant acts, but the amount of power they hold makes these acts non-existent. Other critiques of the labeling theory are that this draws attention to the role of formal and informal social control on behavior. Some evidence supports deviance amplification, where labeling leads to further crime and deviance. Other limitations are that the theory disregards actual behavior of deviance, and the label doesn't create deviance in the first place. Other factors produce initiation of deviance and may affect whether deviance continues, such as the strain theory. The labeling theory ignores other variables and is only focused on societal reaction. Other critiques are that individuals that are able to hide their deviant acts cannot be labeled as deviant if others are not aware of that act. Labelers also believe that if you're a powerful individual, you cannot be deviant because only powerful people are labelers. The failure of research that proves being labeled as deviant makes a person more deviant, and the inability the labeling theory has in explaining what causes deviance. And this is my video project on the labeling theory.